I remember my father once telling me of a course he took in college that is probably pretty standard for anybody studying business, finance, accounting. And it was in this course that the professor taught them about the stock market. And he gave them fake money to invest in the stock market to see how they would do with it and see whether they won or lost money afterwards. Now imagine if that professor had given them real money and said, here, go and invest this in the stock market. I'm giving you this amount of money. If you lose it, well, you lose it. No big deal. If you make money, all I'm going to ask you to do is give me back the initial investment I gave you, and you can keep all the rest. Well, of course, it would be a win-win situation. There would be nobody who would not want to do that. Imagine if somebody didn't. If he just said, no, I'm not going to be bothered. Well, of course, it would be crazy not to do so, because there was no cost to him to do that. All he had to do was go and invest it. And I think that's what Jesus was talking about here in this gospel parable when he talks about the talents, which were coins that were used. It's a Greek word for the coins they used. And he gives them talents, coins, to go out and invest. And the ones who earned money, great, they did something with it. Though if one of them, I think, had tried to invest it and lost it, I think at least the master in the parable would have said, well, all right, at least you tried. But the one who was afraid of losing it and buried it in the ground, the master in the parable comes down very hard on him. And of course, for us, the word talent that was used, it's from the Greek word talentos, which means coin, we have actually used to apply to the gifts God has given us, our skills, our abilities, everything that we have. We've borrowed the word directly from that to talk about our talents, our gifts. And God has given all of us different talents, different gifts to use for him. And many people certainly do use their gifts very well, and we see that happening. Sometimes it's just to serve, for example, in the parish ministry. Many other people are able to use that talent, that gift, as an occupation where they can make money, or sometimes maybe it's just a hobby, but anything to try to advance the glory of God and help people come to him. And by using the talents we give him, we can bring other people closer to him, then he'll be very pleased with what we've done. Unfortunately, there are so many people today that squander, just don't use the talents that God has given them. I know this from my own family, from people I grew up with, from young people especially that I've worked with over the years, and I see such talents, such gifts in them, and yet they don't use them. And I wonder why. You have nothing to lose by trying to use a talent for God, and if it just doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But of course, sometimes people might be afraid of losing it. Well, the only way to lose a talent is not to use it. Imagine anybody who is used to play the piano and hasn't played for 20 years, and then they sit down and try to play. Well, they've lost their gift. It's just not there the way it used to be. So by using our talents, we can bring them to the Lord. But I've seen so many people, great artists, who I said, you have a great talent here. I've seen the drawings they've done. I said, you should use that. But they don't think much of it. And I think a lot of it today has to do especially with our young people, in that, sadly, there are so many young people today who don't see any value in themselves. I shared with you previously a very alarming statistic that I had recently read, that a study they do every year or every couple of years with young people from 8th grade through high school, that nearly 50% of the people recently surveyed say their life has no value and they can't do anything right. Nearly 50% of our young people see no value in their life, and that's alarming. And of course, their life does have value. They just don't see it. There's nothing there, no one that is helping them see the value. And it seems to me that sadly many of the people who are looking for value in their life look for it in only one place, and that is in sports. And while yes, certainly I'm not trying to knock sports, don't get me wrong, but there are a lot of people who think the only way you're going to find your value is in playing a sport. And they try their best, and maybe their parents often even encourage them because they figure you can get a scholarship to college if you play the sport well. But not every kid who plays a sport gets a scholarship, and you also can get a scholarship for academics, especially if you're going to a Catholic school, you can get it for Catholic service in your parish, in the school. So there are plenty of other ways to get scholarships, not just playing sports. And there's also a statistic that says there is a 0.023 chance that a child will grow up to play professional sports. 0.023. And that's just playing sports. Not saying to be famous, not to be saying to be the next Aaron Judge or Wayne Gretzky or anything like that. Just to play sports. What a small minority, what a small statistic that is. And yet so often we put all of our hope into just being good at sports, when there are so many other things we can do to try to find our way to the Lord and use his gifts. And there are so many other gifts that so many people have that just nobody points out to them. And they look for that value because everybody wants their life to have value, and if they don't find it, they look to all sorts of other things. If it's not working in sports or they don't find it there, they look to other things. And as we see in the lives of young people especially, it becomes mimicking the famous. So, dressing in the styles of all the rich and famous people, wearing the popular clothes and doing the popular things, modeling themselves after rock stars or athletes or actresses and actors and things like that. And they try to make their own value based on imitating somebody else's, trying to be for themselves, or take somebody else's talent or somebody else's identity and make it their own just by imitating them. Kind of like Peter Brady and the Humphrey Bogart thing, trying to remember Humphrey Bogart. If you remember that scene where Peter is trying to incorporate Humphrey Bogart's personality for himself, and he goes, we're having pork chops and apple sauce, that's swell. And Blessed Carlo Acutis commented on it, that he said, many people enter the world as individuals, but leave as photocopies. People who just model their own identity on someone else's and never finding the unique gift that is theirs. And the truth of the matter is, each and every one of us does have a unique gift. We all have talents. Nobody has every talent, so we can't be envious of somebody else who has a talent that we don't have. But whatever it may be, it might be a skill. It might be something that we can use to make even an occupation come out of it. It might be a hobby. Or maybe it's just simple things that we can do to bring God to others, like somebody who notices they're a good listener. And so just being a friend to others and being the person that when they need to talk to, there's somebody who can listen to them. Sometimes people don't need wise words from us. All they need is someone to take the time and listen to them. And even in their talking out what they're feeling, they will discover the answer to their own questions, or the Lord will speak to them just in their own words. And all we have to do is be there for them. But if we can ask the Lord to help us to know our skills and use them, use the talents he's given us for his benefit, we can do such great things for him. And don't be afraid of your talent, and don't be afraid to try something new, even something you don't think you might be good at. I learned that quite surprisingly from my own life. Shortly before you're ordained, new priestly candidates meet with the personnel board, who sit down with you and try to figure out what your abilities are, what you like to do, and so they can figure out where is the best parish to place you for your first assignment. And I remember the interview I had with them. They asked me, is there any particular ministry that you couldn't see yourself doing? And I said, yes, high school students. I said, I just don't think I would ever work well with them. Maybe the little ones, younger children, but once you get to junior high and high school, I couldn't for a moment imagine myself working with them. Well, when I was ordained, I was sent to the parish, and the pastor sat down with me and gave me my duties, and one of them he said is, you're going to be responsible for the teen club. And of course, I kind of grimaced inside. I could have said to him, no, I'm sorry, I just can't do that. That's not my wheelhouse. That's not my power. Please, let me have something else, but not the teen club. But I said, okay, I'll give it my best shot. And quickly discovered that I had a knack to it, that I had an ability to reach young people, that I was able to somehow bring them to Christ and bring Christ to them. And 33 years later, I'm still finding that I can still do it. In fact, just this morning, as I was getting ready, I received a text message from a girl from my previous parish, who's now a young adult, who just said, Father, she goes, I just want to let you know I've revived my faith. I've gone back to confession. I'm receiving communion. She goes, and I just want to thank you for being there and guiding me close to Jesus. And I said, thank you, Lord. Just this morning I got that. And anytime I find a young person that says I've made a difference in their life, brought them close to him, I think back on that day when I said, there's no way I'm going to be able to do youth ministry, and say, what a fool I was. Do what God asks you to do, and try it. If it doesn't work, what have you lost? If you try something and you say, hey, I'm just not good at that, then nothing lost. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. But use your talents to serve God. Ask him to help you to know what they are. It might even just be being the best person that you can possibly be. If you are the person God created you to be, you will be the gift to the world he created you to be. Because none of us is here by accident. Every one of us has a reason for being on this earth at this time. I remember years ago, I think I've shared this story with you before, but it's a poignant story. I was giving a teen retreat, and there was a boy, 16 years old, who I'd never met before, came into the retreat. It was for the Archdiocese, and he sat down with me and just wanted to talk. And he told me a story that absolutely broke my heart. He told me that, he says, his mother once told him he was an accident, that she wasn't supposed to be able to conceive when he came along. And he said to me, he says, Father, I could perfectly accept and deal with my parents not planning to have me. He says, but not for a moment in my life have my parents ever made me feel like I was anything other than an accident or a mistake to them. Broke my heart to hear a young man say something like that. Now, I never met his parents. I hope very much that they did love him, and it was the old communication gap thing going on, that the way they were showing their love was not the way he was receiving it. But I remember I said to him, I said, even if what you're telling me is absolutely 100% true, that your parents never wanted you and don't want you now and only see you as a mistake, you are not a mistake to God. Nobody is here on this earth by accident. You are here on this earth at this time because God willed you into existence. And even if we came into existence outside of the conventional ways of marriage, still the Lord has willed that we be here, and every one of us is a reflection of him. And I said, and just like they say no two snowflakes are alike, neither are two people alike. There have never been two people that are perfectly identical, even identical twins. Sometimes you may not be able to tell them apart by looking at them, but their personalities often are very different. And I tell children, I said, you may look or act like your parents, for better or for worse. I said, you may get married and have children, and they may look like you, act like you, but they won't be you. They will be molded and shaped by the times and circumstances in which they grow up. I said, you are the only person just like you God has ever created. He's never created someone like you before, and he never will again. And every one of us is created in the image and likeness of God. That means God is showing himself to the world through you in a way he has never done before and never will again. Each and every one of us here today, each and every one of you, is a unique manifestation of the face of God. You have a way to show him to the world that only you can do. And if every one of us could understand that, if we could get the world to realize the beautiful, unique gift that they are, just by the person that God created them to be, just maybe even being their own best self with their own personality, with whatever it is, if we could get our young people and all people to see that, what a difference the world would be. There would be nobody out there saying, my life is meaningless, my life has no purpose. But every one of us would be striving to be the best we can be so that we can let the face of Christ shine to the world through us. And when we see that, you know the old expression, God don't make no junk? Well, we start to realize that I'm not an accident. I'm not a mistake. I am here on this earth at this time because God wants me here. And our prayer every day would be, Lord, just show me how to show you to the people. Help me use whatever talents, gifts, skills, whatever they may be, to bring you to the people I meet. And through my life and following you, may other people come to know you. And the investment of the skills I have and the talents you've given me will bear much fruit for you and bring many people to salvation. Brothers and sisters, let that be our prayer today, that we will ask the Lord to help us to know what our gifts and skills are. We might know what they are. We might have a particular talent and say, hey, I do this well or that. We may not, but pray about it and ask the Lord to help you to know what is your unique gift. How is the way that you can show Christ to the world that only you can do? How is God showing himself to the world through you in that unique way that he has never done before and never will again? And if we can all appreciate that, we will see the value, the dignity, the splendor of each and every human being, especially of our own lives. We will never see our life as a mistake or an accident or worthless, but we will see that we have tremendous value because God has created us, He willed us into existence, He loves us, and He is showing Himself to the world through us in a unique way. May we come to truly see that and teach that to everyone we meet, especially our young people, so that this way all the world will be able to bear much fruit for the Lord and bring everybody to salvation in His kingdom. May Jesus Christ be praised, now and forever.